Okay everyone, how's it going? Today I'm welding the tabs to the guards. So these little boys that I made the last day, so they're curved, they're not just flat, to match this nice curve, the large curve and the small curve of the guards. So I still have one to do, I have one tack to do in this one, and this one's more or less complete. Try and get this into view. It's kind of difficult. Oh, now I fail. So I have a heat sink in place. I'm also using the vice grips to make sure that the tab is nice and flat, there's no gaps. Let me close this door because there's one blowing up. So a wee small pack, welder set at 30 amps. So that's one tab in position. So if I turn it around this way, I have the hole sort of started off, center punched, and just on a wee bit to leave a wee dimple even. So that's just to keep the drill bits from skating on the mirror finish that I've created on the tab, because there's no way I would be able to get back in there to sand or to polish. So this guard now is ready for the drilling of these holes. Let's say the tab wasn't in the centre of the two bars. What I can do here, let's say the hole is not in the centre of the two bars or the tab. What I can do is basically move that hole by angling the drill. But it looks good. So now moving on to, if you look here, this one, you can probably tell that the heat deformed the guard a wee bit. So what I can do is I can straighten that at the end, but I'm not doing it now. So that's the 4 mounting points of this front guard complete. They just need drilled out now. But the reason I didn't drill them at the start is because, let's say that I didn't line these tabs up perfectly in line or at the centre. So what I'm doing here is I'm cable tying the tabs to the mesh just before I tack them, line them up. As you can tell, this guard still needs welding. So that now should fit nice and snug on the backing panels that I've created over there. But I'm going to continue on here with the other guard in the meantime. I should be studying today, but I'm not. Or doing my research. So I'll set this one aside until later on, until I start drilling the holes. I just need to make sure that these tabs is going to be in the same place in case I interchange the guards on the backing panels. So I'm going to mark these now by placing this one here and this one on top of it. I've already got them marked. So I'm just going to mark them nice and clear because we don't want to get these mixed up. So this tab needs to be in line with the tab welded onto this point. And the same goes for here. It's marked already. And the same goes for this side. Here. And here. Oh, not lined up. Make sure this is right before I start here. Okay, so them's lined up. And they're lined up. Set it this way. Upside down just to check these marks. Okay, so they're in the right position. So I haven't tried this front face on the backing panel yet, but I know it will fit. Because, well, I'll just try it and see. No, I'll do it later on. Okay, so let's start this one now. So, we have 4 tabs left. I created 8 the last day. So if you look at the end of these tabs, I've got one with just a line on it, and the other one's coloured black. So that's telling me this is a sharper radius and this is a shallow radius. So the shallow radius is for this larger radius, and the sharp one's for the small radius. So we're really going to town here. I didn't just weld in flat tabs like this on the curve, because I don't want the edges of the tabs digging into this mirror finish. Well, when I polish it, this needs to be all welded yet. I was lying out in the rain a month ago, so it's getting there. So when these tabs is welded on, I will drill the 8 holes, and then after that I will set the guard on the backing panel nice and snugly, and I will drill right through 4mm, 4.2mm for a 5mm tap. But I should point out, I want to weld this entire backing panel first before I do that, and I want to sand all the welds and polish it to mirror. Well, the sanding's important because I want these guards, these backing panels. Do you see this point here? If I was to set a flat, what do we see? If I get something here. So there to be fine ruler, I want this point level with the guard. So I want all these bars sitting on the inside, all these welded points sitting in the inside, nice and neat and flush. So obviously when I mount the front guard, to the backing panel, you're probably wondering what stops the front panel from coming on through. Well, you can imagine when I line up the screws, the holes will be nice and accurate, and then hopefully it lines up as it should. So this one needs welded still. The tabs, everything needs welded, all in other parts need welded. Over the under there. So moving on, I'm going to start welding the tabs on this one, and hopefully it goes well. So starting off with the sharp radius, I'm just going to mark the tops on here too. So everything at the end up will be polished into a mirror finish again. So the reason I went ahead and polished these is because it's impossible to get at those once they're welded into position. So I'm just going to get a wee bit of flat bar just to show that. Okay, so here we have an old dirty bit of stainless. Well, when I say dirty, there's where I took my little tabs from the last day, and that's lying out in the rain. But I've polished this into a mirror finish. I think it was part 14, video part 14. So if we look here, we've got this just standard stainless finish on the flat bar. So you can imagine me now welding this rough flat bar, the tabs, into there. Look how awful it looks. It looks dull grey against the mirror finish. So the reason I've went ahead and polished these in the mirror is to benefit the end piece. So hopefully you understand. So part 14, I polished an old bar I had lying over, the two different size radius, the curves, and I cut the tabs, 4 of them. So there's 4 here, 2 different sizes, well the radius is different sizes. Right, I'm going to start anyway. So basically what I'm doing here to the front panel is lining the tab up nice and neat to the lower end here, like so. I've got them center punched. I'll start at the drilling, just a little wee dimple. So here we go. So when I'm welding this, I need to make sure not to put too much heat on it because we don't want the curve buckling inwards because of the stress that's in it. But if it does, I can straighten it after. So what I do here to mount the tabs to the mess is use a cable tie around the 2 black marks, like so. Keep cable ties further away from the weld as possible. So I now need to pick the right tab, which is the one with the black solid line, so that's the shallow radius. So that will be cable tied into this position. Like so. And hopefully the hole then that I have started to drill is centre in between the 2 bars, which it is. If not, I can move the tab to suit. And let's say if I weld the tab and the hole still looks out, I can direct that hole with the drill bit, with the drill itself, the angle on the drill slightly. So there we go, this one is now ready to weld. Making sure it's tight to this top rail. Make sure it's square. The welder said 30 amps. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to maybe, no I'm not, I might tack it once and then put the piece of aluminium, the heat sink at the back of it, with the vice grips. And another bit of stainless. So keeping the cable tie over as far as possible because the heat will melt it. I'm going to close this door again just. So the backs of the tab are also polished into a mirror finish to remove any sharp edges to keep it from scoring the backing panel, the band that I have created, because the band will be polished into a mirror finish and you will see the band through this part. 20 mil in. So where's that flat bar? So that's the width of the band. So if you can imagine, so they're going to look really well. And the reason I went to this extreme is because the compressor that I'm building these for, I have actually built it. So trying to use as little heat as possible because it starts to deform there. I leave any marks on the bars, that can be polished out again. So to keep this from buckling, now what I'm going to do is remove the cable tie, and I'm going to add 2 pieces of either aluminium or stainless to act as a heat sink. It will also keep the curve nice and will keep the radius. So if you look here, you might be able to, I have straightened it there now of the vice grips and the aluminium, but there's a wee tooty bit on it yet. But that can be shaped at the end up, as I say. When I polish the actual front guard, when I put heat under it, I can work it then with my hands or even a mallet. So when I say polish, I'm not exactly polishing it with autosil, I'm using the burnisher. Or the side cell wheel. So what do we see here? That yoke over under. So I'll keep her lit, I'll finish this tab and move on to the second one. As I say, the other guard's completed. So this time I'm going to use the 2 strips. Trying to keep a wee bit of pressure so it doesn't buckle. Trying to keep these tacks as small as possible. At the end of the day, they're only holding this front guard to the back panel. So now on to third tack, the final tack of this tab. So there's 2 tacks. Sorry, let me put that phone back in the stand. So I can either choose this side or this side. It doesn't need welded at both sides. So again, I need to remember to keep the tab flat at the back here. When I weld this side, it tends to pull up this way. So I want to put pressure at the back side of it here. I should be using another bit of aluminium here. 2 seconds, let's see if I can find it. The stainless is going to score the stainless. So a wee bit of pressure at the back, not too much, just enough. And keeping the aluminium under the bar. So there's not too much heat goes into the bar, we don't want to deform it or we don't want to burn through it either. So what I might do here is just turn this around because I'm right-handed and it'll be easier when I go to this side. Hopefully. Again, you won't see what I'm doing, so I just have to try it this way. That's it. So the thing's wandering in the air, so I need to be sure to steady it with my hand here. I'll try and get the camera nice and close. So hopefully you can see that nice and clear. Things can go wrong here, like so. Hopefully not. Perfect. So that's the second tab done. Sorry, let me try and get that in view. So 1 tack at the back and 2 tacks here at this point. So if we look at the dimple that I have created with the drill bit, you can see that it looks well, it's in the centre of the 2 bars. So that hole is also in the centre of the actual 20mm flat bar too, so it's 10mm from this inner bar to the hole. So when these holes is drilled, all I need to do is sit this on a flat surface, such as a piece of timber, and line this up. Sit this one on its back. Did I get it? Will I get it here? Will I move this stuff? Sit this one on its back and sit this over it flat to the bench, and then drill through the tabs, and everything will be lined up the way I want it. So I wasn't planning to do a live stream today, but I may as well, because the video is complete of the other one. So now moving on to the third tab, which is, so there's the, where is the first one? Have I only done one? I've only done one, sorry. So there's the first one. I'm going to start the second one here, and see this, the way it's buckled. The heat here at this point, because when I'm sitting the tab on, I can't really use the vice grips to keep the thing from buckling. I'm using a cable tie. So it's just to line it up centre in the bars. It's much easier than trying to clamp it with the vice grips. So now I'm going to focus on the next tab, which is the smaller radius, which is the tab with the line on it, just so it's stroked line. And this one is also the tight radius for here and here. This one with the black line is the opposite side from where I placed this one. The shallow radius or the larger radius. The shallow curve, shall I say. So moving on. So here's my point of interest. I need a cable tie first. I'm going to move these in case they scratch it. So the first thing to do here is put the cable tie around the 2 black marks, the 2 bars with the black marks. But I'll see if you can see that. And then pull the cable tie up the top. So the reason I'm placing these tabs a certain way, because I've measured from the mark side to the hole just to keep it sitting the same. It should be equal, but you never know. So that will be the second tab in position. So it's on the curve here and no more. I could have done with a shallower tab or even a straight tab there, but it doesn't matter. When I polish it, there'll be no sharp edges here. I will be able to polish on the inside again. So lining this up, keeping the hole centered with 2 bars. Looks good there. Flipping it over the body. And this one is in a better position to weld. So there's less. I didn't realise that. I probably should have had that. No, I don't want that, but I didn't want to have the tab too far this way, because I want as much support here in the middle. Will I just check this? So I need a wee bit of rod there. There's a bit of a gap. The flat bar is not flat at the end, it's got a wee taper in it. So I'm going to straighten this. The the fuel pad's going to melt, so I'm just going to have to stop us. 2 seconds. So there we go, that one doesn't go well. I'll get a different tab, it's cool here. I need something more rigid. Jenga block. I should be using aluminium here too. There we go. So that's back to normal again. Went out of shape. So make sure I get the right tab, not that one. So I'm trying to keep my hand as steady as possible. I'm trying to keep the tack small without using the filler rod. So there we go, we're back on again with another one. Just because the other one's still hot. Move the cable tie down. This time with a wee bit of rod. Let me just put these other tabs on now and I'm at it. Lining the hole up to the centre for 2 bars. Foot out your work now. Trying to keep the welds to the inside, it's not easy. Okay, I'm going to put the other tab on when I'm at it. So, I need to be careful now when I weld. I'm going to do that way on the new one because it didn't go right. I'm going to sharpen this electrode. It's alright. Right. So I might this time put a wee plate here to keep it from buckling. A wee support plate. I'll curve it. Hopefully this works. Or I might try and go ahead. I just need to take to have as little heat as possible. There, that's starting to go. That's starting to go. Where's my cutters? Trying to do this without scratching the mirror finish. It's not too bad actually, but I'll just give it a wee squeeze. So I'll just show what I'm talking about here. So when I hit the heat, because I'm welding 3mm round bar here, really, it tends to buckle quite easily, especially when there's stresses in it here. So if you look at this point where I've welded, it's very minute, but it's starting to V a wee bit, and I don't want that, so I'm going to straighten it here. So the cable tie is works quite well lining the tab up, but it's better having the support plates on it to keep it from buckling. But it can be straightened anyway, so I'm just going to get another bit of aluminium, wherever it went. It's vanished, so I'll just have to use the stainless. So give another wee squeeze. Have this plate on here to protect the mirror finish. So I need something a little bit more rigid, so I'll use a bit of wooden inside. And I'll place it there. The wood went thick. No good. There we go. So there's a nice curve there now. So I'm going to finish welding this one and I'm going to move over to the other side. The shadow radius. I'm sorry, the circle radius. So what I need to do here again now is make sure the back of this tab is clamped tight. So when I weld it, it tends to lift this way. I still have to place a wee tap here. I need to make sure it's tight this way first, which it is. So the stainless and a piece of aluminium now is acting like a heat sink and a wee platform. So you can imagine now there's not really, I'm working against the stress, so when I put heat into it, it can't really buckle. So I'm trying to use no rod here because the finer the better. The biceps are in the way. Yep. There we go. Okay. So one more tack now at the back of this tab. Hopefully I don't mark it. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to finish this one off later on. I'm just going to do a wee demonstration here of the actual guard that's finished. So this is a backing panel, and that sits on the compressor with the big curve, the big radius to the right hand side. So that'll slide down like so, and one of these boys then, there's two of them. This is the one with the little tabs finished. These will slide on. down onto the actual band that I've created. But I'm not sliding it on right now because I want to remove any sharp edges or any high bits in the weld, because I don't want to scratch this band. I will be polishing it tomorrow. So 3 tacks on each tab. So that's it really. And there's 2 sets. So that's it everyone. I thought I'd do a wee demonstration of welding these tabs on today. I'm going to go here and finish them off camera because it's tricky work. And there's a while heat in this garage. So goodbye everyone. Thank you for watching.